All right, we'll kick it off with a question to João. What should one do when they receive instructions from the spirits that are not in line with Spiritism? What should a medium, I think, do when they receive instructions from spirits that are not in line with the concepts within Spiritism?
Well, the question there is the message itself, right? We cannot say that only things that come from Spiritism are good things. We can receive beautiful messages from everywhere in the world, from all religions and all beliefs and outside religion. So the important thing is the quality of the message. And again, if we are in doubt what to do with the message, put it aside and wait for us to improve a little bit. But if we receive a message that is uplifting, that can be of help to us or to others, let's use the message. Let's disseminate the message. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't have to come from a spirit that is connected to Spiritism. The truth is out there everywhere. The problem is our interpretations of the truth. That's what creates the issues.
Now to Luiz, can animals be mediums?
A medium establishes communication with the outside world using the five senses somehow. So, no, I mean, they don't have the
ability,
the bodily structure that we have to be able to convey the message over.
Okay.
If they don't talk here, why they will talk there?
Right.
Mediums don't bark.
Then another one to you, Luiz. What should one do when he or she is surrounded by negative spirits, both incarnate and disincarnated?
We always, we're here for trials and expiations. That means they are all here with us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in an environment for trials and expiations. So they are all here. It depends on our thoughts, on our ability to filter out the bad stuff. We need to, it's not that we cannot. We can. We are able to filter out bad stuff and identify what's good, what's bad. The problem is it's hard to sustain. We do at times fragment it here and there and there. And when you, the periods that you're not sustaining it, that's where the danger takes place, because they come through and they knock us down. But we have that ability. It's just a matter of, being thoughtful all the time.
Mm-hmm. Anything? No? Okay. So to you, João, does the unconscious medium truly yield complete control to the spirits?
Not complete control, right? Because what happens with the unconscious medium is that it's not going through the brain of the medium. So the message is not filtered by the medium, it's passed directly through the psychophony, through the voice, or through the psychography, right? But the medium has to have control over the communication, and the medium has the ability to control. The example I gave with the computer is exactly that. He's messing up with my computer, but I'm looking what he's doing. So he decides to access a site that I don't like. I block his access. I cut his access. So that's the same thing with the unconscious medium. The medium is not aware of the communication being given, but the medium is in control of the spirit giving the communication, control of how the spirit is expressing oneself. So it's the message that is unconscious. It's not the connection that is unconscious. Okay? I don't know if you understand the difference, right? So the medium finishes the message, has no idea what he or she has spoken or written or anything like that, because it's unconscious. But the control of the spirit communicating, the medium has to have it all the times.
Thank you, João. This one is for you, Luiz. Please elaborate on Kardec's statement that a medium might have his mediumship suspended.
The medium must have what?
Might have the mediumship capability suspended.
Yeah. Yeah, when the medium starts to deviate from the goal, the target, and the target is known. Once the medium is educated, he knows what he has to do, what the objective is. When he starts to deviate, to go other ways, and that's what the book, The Messengers, talks about. Mediums are going, diverting, drifting apart from the route they should take. Yeah, it will bring consequences. Part of this is the inability to continue its work, because they might not be doing good work if they're drifting apart. So mediumship, the ability to continue with mediumship is going to be, I would say, suspended or taken away, something like that. They stop being able to do this, so they don't bring anything that could be harmful for the medium himself, society, those around it. So yes, they can get blocked.
And if you think about it, you think more seriously about it, it's a way to protect the medium from itself, right? So the medium that deviates from the path and doesn't lose their mediumship are just digging deeper and deeper the hole for themselves. If they lose their mediumship, the spirits are protecting the medium from him or herself.
From being harmful to himself.
Yeah, I think this answers another question, which was, what are the dangers of reaping profits from one mediumship? Because if, I guess if you're profiting through it, you might further insure yourself.
Yeah, I would like to address this issue, because we live in a country where mediumship for hire is common, accepted, and widespread. So we cannot come here and try to eliminate something that is widely accepted. We have to explain mediumship according to Spiritism, but we cannot discriminate mediums that never heard of Spiritism, that never heard that what they are doing is illegal or immoral or not correct, and try to take away their means of living sometimes, right? Many years ago, 2008-07, we went to Lilydale, which is the city of mediumship in the US, right? Where you have a whole village full of mediums that are paid to receive messages and give communications, and they work in a very nice environment. Divaldo made a beautiful lecture there. People loved the talk that Divaldo gave. Divaldo never mentioned anything about paid mediumship, of course. They do their work trying to do good to others. They, of course, when you have 50 millions, you're not going to say all 50 work for the good of others. Some of them are not. Some of them are thinking on their own profit. But some of them are doing it for the right reasons. So who are we to go there and say you cannot do this anymore? We have to respect their way of doing things. And yes, should we spread Spiritism and spread how Spiritism sees mediumship and how Spiritism think we should use mediumship? Absolutely. But not trying to prevent others to do what they think is right, and they understand they always did that, or they come from parents that did that, and it's well accepted, and it's part of the culture of the place. So we have to be very careful. Let's not go out there, start criticizing all the paid mediums because the Spiritism does not recommend it. Kardec talks about paying mediums, and he says, you know, if you read in the medium's book, he says in a way that you should not do it, you are risking problems with it, but if you do it and it's your only ways to survive, then take certain precautions. He talks about it in the medium's book. So let's not be too extreme on the attacks of mediums for hire, and let's try to understand that some of them end up benefiting others, right? Now, a Spiritist medium that charges, that's a different story. Then it becomes a problem because we should know better, right? Then it becomes a problem, but let's separate the things.
Okay, then another question I think to you, João. As a Spiritist, is it more important to study to further develop oneself or do charity and help others?
Both. But you ask what's more important, right? What do you think about Mother Teresa? Did she spend her time educating herself or doing charity? What is more important? If the only options are doing charity and studying, my opinion, we should do charity because by helping others, we're helping ourselves. And by doing charity, because our wings of evolution is the moral and the intellectual, right? And the intellectual one is the easy one. The moral is the difficult one. Because on the moral one, we have to eliminate our imperfections. It's always more difficult to eliminate things than to add things. On the intellectual side, we are only adding things. We already know. I know how to read. Now I need to know how to read in German, right? So it's adding on what I already know. Now, eliminating my selfishness is hard work because it's part of me. I'm selfish. So I need to work hard. And by doing charity, you are working on your imperfections, trying to eliminate your imperfections. So if you have to postpone the learning for later or for future reincarnation, that's fine. We are going to do it when we can. So ideally, you should do both, but if you have time only to either do charity or educate yourself, in my opinion, practice charity.
Thank you, João. And when we practice charity, we think we're helping others, but we're helping ourselves mainly, right?
Primarily.
To both of you, is it possible to confuse schizophrenia with mediumship or vice versa?
Well, that's complicated because mediumship has a well-defined purpose. And the personality of the person has to allow for that to happen. They might interfere at times. So when somebody who is schizophrenic has to provide a certain result, because of that condition, he might not be able to, even though the purpose is known. Like, you don't have the ability to produce that because of the personality. So, yeah, one might interfere in the other. And other health conditions, situations, yeah, people who have, brain damages in certain parts, they might not be able to process what they need to process to achieve the goal.
Maybe Marcia can say something.
How do you handle a situation in which a mediumistic session drains all your energy? What can be done about it, and why does it happen? So to both of you, based on your experience.
First, we need to look at physical aspects, right? So why your energy is being drained? Isn't it because you already started from a low level of energy because you spent your day, overextending yourself? So if that's not the case, if you arrive at the mediumship meeting with a normal amount of energy, prepared for it, and you ended up completely drained, you are, something is not working right in the mediumship meeting. You are allowing yourself to be drained of the energy. You should, a medium when he is feeling this energy is being drained should ask for passes. The people that are in the support of the mediumship meeting also give passes to the mediums to replenish them of energy, to clean them of the energy, the negative energies that the spirits leave connected to them. So they should ask for passes. They should leave the mediumship meeting better than they started. Normally they start with a lot of the mediums, the spirits attached to them. They work as an ambulance and bring the spirits to the meetings, and so they should leave feeling better. If they are feeling worse, something is wrong. It's difficult to say in the general terms, but they are allowing themselves, because how do we drain ourselves? Either physically or mentally, right? So if they are sitting, they are not draining physically, they are draining mentally. Why they are draining themselves mentally? And you have to answer, to find the answer yourself, right? But one resource that we should use is to ask for passes.
Energy is leaking somewhere, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Thank you. Talking about energy, can frightening Halloween decorations attract lower order spirits?
Anything can attract low order spirits if you have bad thoughts. Halloween, if you think about a classic Halloween, you will have these images and these movies and these things, these reruns for 30 years, every October 31st. So we as a society, not we as people, but we as a society, we are sustaining this thing. We are feeding the psychosphere with this, at least in part of the year. And if we are doing this, what do we expect? Right? It can't be good. Not necessarily it's going to be a disaster for each one of us here on October 31st, but we are sustaining something that we shouldn't be in the first place.
Does the cross expel the obsessing spirits and exorcism? Is it the cross that works? Again, physical objects are just physical objects. The energy that we put behind them is what really counts, right? So if you look at the Halloween decorations and you start thinking about scary spirits, you may be attracting them. If you look at Halloween decorations and you think, oh, how nice, it's fun. You look at this house, so many lights, so beautiful. You're not attracting any inferior spirits. You're just happy with what you are seeing, and the energy is different, right? So physical objects should not work one way or another if we don't allow it, right? It's we allow the physical objects to interfere with our lives. Normally people ask, is there any problem to light a candle in the home when I'm going to do the prayer, the gospel at home? It's not a problem if it helps you focusing, if it helps you concentrating, if it helps you do the gospel with better mental energy. Fine, light the candle. The problem is the day you don't have a candle, you don't do the gospel because you don't have a candle. That's when you are creating problems for yourselves, because you're depending on the candle. But anything that helps you in a positive way, and you don't get attached to it, use it. If it helps, why not? right?
Yeah, the candle is just a candle. It depends on what it means to you.
Yeah.
You might mean something that, it's dark, I need light. That's all it is. You might mean, it gives me a better state for gospel at home, puts me in a better state. Or it could be, you light a candle as somebody's dead. You see, so it's what it means to you. It's not the candle itself.
Got it. João, could you please talk a little bit more about the dialoguer role?
Sure. So, what are the requirements to be a dialoguer? Study. It always goes back to that, right? What's the basic book for a dialoguer? The Gospel according to Spiritism, right? Because you are not there to enter into a discussion. You are there to provide hope and consolation for the spirit. You have a suffering spirit or an angry spirit that is looking for a way out of their own inability to get out of themselves, right? It's not going to be with an intellectual discussion, right? You find a priest, an ex-priest coming to communicate. The priest knows much more about evangelical themes, the gospel and everything than you. But if you can use the gospel to give consolation, to give hope, so a dialoguer needs to be a psychologist. Well, I'm a banker, so I'm very removed from psychology, right? So, no, but you need to learn a little bit about psychology. It's useful, right? Because you were dealing with people. When you talk to an incarnate, if you use psychology, you can talk to a discarnate in the same way. This discarnate is just an incarnate without a physical body, right? So it's the same. And is someone that is suffering, that is struggling, or that is angry? How do you deal with someone that is angry or in lack of hope or desperate? By giving hope and consolation. What are the instruments for you to be able to give hope and consolation? Study, understanding of our spiritual nature, understanding the process of how the spiritual world works, what the spirit needs to move on. And the first rule for a good dialoguer, listen first. We, dialoguers, make the mistake very often of wanting to talk too much. The spirit is not, sometimes I talk to the spirit, and in the end the spirit says, I didn't understand what you want to say. So I wasted my time and the time of the spirit. You need to listen. Sometimes the spirit just needs that anemic shock to talk. And you say, you are in a spiritual house of assistance, you're going to be helped, there is help for you. You don't need to say much. You don't need to show your knowledge of Spiritism, because many times they don't even know what Spiritism is, especially us working in English in our mediumship meeting. So, study, right? Study the gospel according to Spiritism. But if you want to go a little deeper, for those that can read Portuguese, Diálogo com as Sombras, Hermínio Miranda, This Obsession, André Luiz through Chico and Valdo Vieira, and there is a book by Terezinha Oliveira, also again, Talking to Spirits in a Mediumship Meeting. It's a very basic book, very good to learn about how to be a dialoguer.
Thank you, João. And for you again, João, can you briefly talk about the examples you gave in your lecture about the conscious, semi-conscious, and unconscious, like the computer again?
To repeat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm your
Please.
computer guy, go.
Here is my computer guy, right? So your computer breaks, right? You need a technician to help you fix your computer. So I call Luiz, and I tell him, listen, my computer is frozen in this page. What should I do? And Luiz tells me, oh, you should do this and that, turn on and off, or all these things that we do with computer. So I listen what he has to say and I do it myself. That's the conscious medium, right? I'm registering the information that he gives me. I'm using my own brain and my own thought process to do what he told me to do. That's the conscious medium. You are receiving the information from the spirit, perispirit to perispirit. The information goes to your physical brain and you express it knowing what you are talking about. A conscious medium remembers all or most of the communication it gives or writes. The semi-conscious medium, again, I asked Luiz to help me fix my computer, and he tells me, press A, press B, press X, am I doing what he's telling me to do without thinking too much? But I'm thinking, because I have to think how to execute what he's telling me to do. That's the semi-conscious. So the message goes through the medium's brain, but it doesn't stop there and then the medium thinks what to do. It goes through the brain direct to the hand or to the mouth, and the medium just expresses what is coming without thinking much of it. But it has some sort of understanding of what the medium is telling or writing. So it kind of remembers, not everything, but remembers parts of what he said or wrote. That's the semi-conscious. The unconscious medium, again, I call him, he said, give me remote access. These are these programs, right, called AnyDesk, and that gives remote access. So I give remote access to him. He starts working on my computer and fixing the problem. I'm just looking at it and not doing anything. Maybe I'm not even understanding what he's doing, but he's there working on a computer and fixing it. Again, I have complete control over my computer. I can interrupt any moment, but I'm not aware of what he's doing. The unconscious medium will see the result of the mediumship after. So maybe if it was recorded, he will listen. If it was written, he will read, but it doesn't know what it said or what it wrote. It's completely from the unconscious level. So it goes directly from the spirit to the mouth or to the hand. I hope it's clear now.
I think so. If not, you go back to YouTube and you listen again. All right.
Or you call a technician to fix your computer and see how it works.
So we don't have any additional questions. Any questions from the audience? Okay. If not, thank you so much.
Thank you.